This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. It has been said that you can have whatever you want in life. You create it in your mind, and if you take the right steps, it will just appear. You'll attract it to you. Does that really work? We're going to find out. I have my thoughts. I have my proof. It's called manifestation, and she is somebody who has a lot of insight on this because it's all about energy, and she is an amazing energy healer and spiritual coach, and she's back with us, our professional of the year, Jen Fedorowicz, joins us on the program. How are you?
I'm fabulous today. Thank you, Steve.
Ooh, I have been studying this for a long time. I believe I manifest well, but I believe, like many of us, there's something missing or we're doing something wrong if things don't show up in a reasonable amount of time. Time is a word we use loosely here when we talk about energy because it's in the universe's time, not when you want it to show up. Why don't we go back to the basics of manifestation? Where do we begin with this?
So it's something I've studied for a long time too, back when The Secret came out, and I don't know, remember even what year that was, late 90s, early 2000s. And I hear people all the time talking about manifestation, like getting it. I think I've figured it out. But I think it's really important that we understand as these human beings that everybody is manifesting constantly. You are manifesting your life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So most of us are manifesting by default. We focus on whatever it is that's in our mind. Our thoughts are everywhere, and we're creating a life. We're all creating a life, but we don't know we're creating our own life. And so it's by default. It's not intentional manifestation. Many people learn about manifestation and say, oh, if I think about it, my thoughts become things. What I think about will become what I want. And yes, that is absolutely true. But
there's a but.
Yeah, there's definitely a but, because all the clients I work with understand that, but then there's doubt.
There's
doubt is an energy.
Yeah, 100%. And thank you for starting in this point, because we're all manifesting 24/7. We're just doing it. We don't know we're doing it. And what I'm getting from you is, yes, we see those things that we want and we feel we deserve, but things get in the way. There could be a shadow of doubt floating around in there, or a limiting belief that you're not even aware of that's blocking it from coming, because it should be coming to you if you've got the right things in place.
Yes, I know this for sure. If you have a dream or a desire, it's meant for you. We live in a limitless universe. We weren't raised knowing that. So we think, like, who are you to think why should you have that? Or, you know what I mean? Like, do you deserve that? Or, I know you deserve it all, and you came to have it all. And then you got here and you forgot about that amazing ability you have to bring. Truly, it's bringing energy into form. So consciousness brings energy into form. You are consciousness, and consciousness flows through you. And that teams with or goes with imagination, right? So our minds are constantly imagining. When you're brushing your teeth, you're imagining. When you're driving down the street, you're thinking about something, but that thinking is imagination. And imagination is actually what creates.
Now, hold on here. I just want to take the wrench and throw it in. All the gear and dead stop. Consciousness is what's doing it. That's your imagination. But is it true that our subconscious is also working there, and that could be what's preventing it from coming your way?
Yes, absolutely. So we have, like you mentioned, subconscious. Limiting beliefs are almost always subconscious, right? They're the way we were raised. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
All of those ideas and thoughts that we hold in our subconscious. And so we talked last week about my energy healing, which is clearing subconscious beliefs, really, the stuff that's in the subconscious. But we can do that on our own as well. I wanted to, there was a study done. It was in Time magazine back in 2000 something. I don't remember, maybe 2009. They took people and they played the piano and they measured their brain waves as they were playing the piano. And then they brought them back the next day and they had them imagine they were playing the piano and they measured their brain waves. And they were exact same brain waves as when they were playing the piano.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So, you hear about sports figures who imagine, winning the Super Bowl or imagine that home run, or it really is true that what we think about, we bring about, that
Mm.
our imagination is creating. And if we are as focused as we can be on those dreams and start believing them, I personally believe that those limiting beliefs or those subconscious interferences will start to fall away on their own because we're so focused. It's like a single focus on this is happening for me.
It's almost like the 900-pound gorilla, if that's what you're manifesting is, and if you're really focused on it and really believing it, it just comes in and it pushes the negative beliefs out of the
Yes.
way. Like, I'm going to win
Yes.
here, guys. So you can go away, go away. I got this.
Yes.
Jen has this coming her way, whatever it is. I got it. I'm going to take care of it. Um, I believe in manifestation. And I believe it because I've seen it in different ways. Basic way, manifesting a parking spot. Do it all the time. It shows up. People laugh at me. They make fun of, they're driving in the car and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I got to manifest a spot. We got to get a spot. All right, hold on a sec. And I just think about it and sure, up there it is. Let me just pull in. I'm going to say 90% of the time, if not more, when I do that, and very crowded areas in a town, village, city, it's waiting right there. It's almost funny. And I always say, if somebody needs it more than me, please give it to them. But I would appreciate if it would be there when I arrive. And I'm telling you, 90% of the time, it can't be just a coincidence because there's times where it's a holiday and I go somewhere and up there it is. Great. All right. And so that's my initial proof that this actually works.
Yeah, that's how I started out too when my children were young and I was just starting to learn this and trying to teach them they could create their life. I would do the same thing and say, we're going to get the front row spot. Back then it was Verizon, it was always so crowded at Verizon. And we'd say we were getting the spot and we would. But I
Yeah.
want to mention something you said about coincidence. We have a misunderstanding about coincidence. If you look up the word coincidence, it means coinciding incidences. It means incidences that were meant to happen. And I don't know how it happened in our vernacular that we've started to say, oh, that's such a coincidence, like it wasn't supposed to happen. When in fact, I think of coincidences like synchronicities. Life is one synchronicity after another. If you ask me, when you're in alignment, you believe that you are the creator of your life. It's like things just happen that other people would look at my life and say, what's going on with Jen? How she get so lucky all the time, right? Like it's kind of like that. But it's not luck, it's synchronicity. It's knowing that I'm creating my life, that I'm deserving of everything that I desire. And so I get up every morning and step out into life like, ready, bring it on, world. What's coming today? What are the miracles that I'm going to experience that I've energetically aligned with? And yet, I don't have to know the details. That's something that stops people. I want this to happen. So let me figure out in my mind, I have to do this and this and this for that to happen. Let it go. Send that desire energetically out into the universe and let the universe decide how it's going to happen because it's way bigger than your conscious mind could ever even figure out.
Give us a definition of coincidence again. I want to retain that and remember it. And
Yeah.
I believe just what you're saying. There aren't any coincidences. But when I say that to somebody, they're loosely on board. But what you just said, like, hello, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Coinciding incidences, things that are meant to happen is what a coincidence is. So when it
Mm.
happens, say, oh, what a coincidence. Of course that would have happened.
It's very hard not to get caught up in the minutia where just what you said, I call it reverse engineering. Just there it is. This is what I believe should be here or what I deserve. how it's getting here, I don't care. It's just going to show up. Instead of worrying about the steps, well, I got to do this and then I got to do that to get to that. No, just it's see the end,
Yes.
or start at the
Yes.
end.
Yes. I'm a big fan of Neville Goddard's work. He taught back in the 30s, 40s, and living with the end in mind, right? Wake up in the morning living with the end in mind. What is it that you want to experience? Or I call it a future memory. A future memory. We want our subconscious mind to have this memory of something that hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen in the future. So I'm going to let my subconscious hold on to this memory because now I'm creating from that imagination.
Wow, future memory is great. That's a good one. um, what about specifics? So we say don't get caught up in everything, but I've also heard that when you want to manifest something you need to be specific. Maybe specific within reason, but you can't just say, I want that. I want a, I want a sports car. Okay, great. But to believe that it's coming your way, there needs to be some specifics. What can you tell us about that?
I would agree with that, that the more specific you are, the universe responds to the specifics. Think about going into a restaurant, right? I know if I go sit in a restaurant and say, I'd like to order a cheeseburger, that's one thing. But I personally want my cheeseburger medium with Swiss cheese and mushrooms and pickles on a toasted bun. Right. So if I place my order specifically, I'm much more likely to get what I want than if I say, bring me a cheeseburger. What if that cheeseburger has tomatoes that I don't want on it, or,
Hmm.
so, and so I always feel like I have to say though, as a caveat, like there's not some guy out there taking your order and delivering it.
Right.
It's the frequency or the vibration that you're sending out into this cosmic universe that's really like a mirror. And the universe is mirroring back the vibration. And the more specific the vibration, the more specific the reflection to that vibration will be. Does
Totally
that make
got it.
sense?
Yeah, it really does. Again, it's the boomerang effect. What you put out is coming back to you. So why put out not specific descriptions of what you want? And I can attest to that because I manifest the perfect person and everything amazing, spot on, like wow, okay, except I didn't be specific and I just assumed emotionally available, that comes with the package. It did not because I assumed. I didn't think about that. And that was a challenge. That was a challenge.
Yeah.
Everything else, amazing. So I
Yeah.
wasn't specific and I admit it. I just, and not that I got caught up on certain hair color, no, but I wasn't as deeply specific as I should have been.
Yeah. That's why I encourage journaling. I think if we sit, if we sit in meditation, which a lot of people say I can't meditate, all that is just being still, right? Putting your phone down for 10 minutes and
Hmm.
feeling your breath and tuning in. And then decide. A big word for me is decide or choose. Decide what you want. Decide that it's for you and write the details of what you want. My journal is filled with the future memories that I'm walking into. That's what I'm spending my morning writing about, those future memories. And if I go back in time and read the future memories that I've written in the past, they've already happened.
What's the let's go there. What's the frequency of it happening in your experience of manifesting?
It happens more and more. I'd say 90% frequency. And the things that haven't happened, then I realize I have to tweak or release the doubt. And so let's just talk about that. It's your inner vibration that matters. I don't know if I mentioned this in our first discussion, but I think it's worth hearing again. Think of the universe like a mirror, right? If you walk up to a mirror and you're looking in the mirror and you're not smiling, you can't say to the reflection, hey, smile, smile. The reflection's not going to smile, right? When you smile, now your reflection's going to smile. That's exactly how our universe works. Whatever, you can't keep saying, hey, give me this, I want this, if you're not feeling it in here. It has to be happening within your physical body,
Yep.
within your thoughts and feelings. And then you attract that reflection that matches what you're feeling. And so I think people who are not having success with manifestation, it's because they want it. And if you want it, you're not in the energy of already having it. That's the future memory. That makes
That's a
sense?
key point. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's reasonable to think that, I want this, I want that. But unless you're actually believing it's here,
Mhm.
and not so much because I used to believe it's on its way. No, it's here.
Mhm.
It's here.
Mhm.
Some even believe it is at your fingertips, just like this. It's right there. Now you just need to pull it in a little bit more with the belief that it's right there. It's right there. But what gets in the way? Let's just put a little more microscope on that because I get the limiting beliefs and I look at things um, that haven't manifested. And I try to dissect. All right, what's blocking this? There's got to be something blocking it, whether it's not full believing. What is essentially at the core here?
Well, everything's energy. It's always about the energy. So if there's something that's not happening energetically, you're not aligned with it. And radio is the perfect example, Steve. All radio stations are available right now, right? But your listeners are listening to this one. You could tune to another one at any time. And we hear all the time, and this is a hard one to wrap our head around, I think. We hear all the time, everything's already here. It's already here. It's not like it's coming. It's
Hmm.
available now.
Yep.
But you're not in the vibration of it. You're not tuned to the radio station that would bring that into your life. So mastering life is an inside job. Mastering energy, it's an inside job. It always comes back to what am I thinking and feeling right now? Because if something's not coming, then you're thinking or feeling something that's not in the same energy or frequency as that dream or desire. Awareness. I catch myself all the time if I'm driving because, I got lots of stuff I want to be happening that aren't happening. And so I catch myself driving down the road. Whoa, where is your mind? Bring it back here.
You
Take some breath.
that's great what you said from within. You really have to be plugged in to your thoughts and emotions. You can't just go through the day. It takes work. Everything is work,
Mm-hmm,
even fun
mm-hmm,
stuff, even planning
mm-hmm.
this weekend coming up. Who are we doing it with? Who's going to be driving? Where are we going? Get everybody on the same page. It's work. It's fun work, but it's work.
Right.
And so's manifesting. It takes some work in terms of what you're thinking and how you're thinking. What about releasing things to make room for what you want? Let's say you're in a relationship, not really supporting you, but you hang on, fear of abandonment, whatever it might be, right? But it shouldn't be that way. There should be the perfect person walking into your life. And you've got a lot to, offer. Holding on to those things, holding on to things can block you from getting what you want. Is that true? Same in a job, same thing with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Fear, right? And actually, I've worked with many clients who hated their job and wanted a new job. And they're not going to quit their job because they need the money. So what I teach them is start appreciating and loving the job that you have, and you'll be able to move into that next thing. Now, it's a little different with a relationship, although I do think love is the answer. It sounds cliche, but there's really two main emotions, love and fear. And so if you're in fear, you're holding on. And if you're holding on, you're not allowing for the flow of the universe, of the energy to come in. So I would agree
Mm.
with you 100% that releasing, sometimes it's just releasing the fear or the emotion around that, or actually releasing the thing.
I'm glad you said fear. I forgot to use that word.
Mhm.
It's a big one. I'm staring at a vision board right over there. Um, I don't know if I shared this with you, but I waited the longest time to do it. Always heard about it, do one. I was even on a train last summer and looking for pictures while I'm just killing time, just taking it all in and never got around to, excuse me, doing it. So I create one. It's about 3 weeks ago. I ca- I have to look at it. it's almost like a magnet that when I just glance over there, like it's almost like it's a weird, interesting, fun feeling. Vision boards, your feeling on that.
I think vision boards are great. And remember this energy about them. When you look at that vision board, try not to be in the energy of, oh, someday that's going to come true for me, right? Look at that vision board,
Mm,
breathe deep in your belly, and feel the feeling right now of whatever is on that board that you're going to experience. Feel the frequency, the energy of you are experiencing right now. Close your eyes, use your imagination, because the more your imagination feels it, another thing Neville Goddard said is feel it real, right? So just feel it and feel it. It's not a wanting, it's a having. You
mm,
don't want that to happen, Steve. You have it right now. What's it feel like? And that's really
right.
what creates the momentum in your manifestation.
And that's what goes back to what we talked about, knowing it's right there. No, it's here.
Mm-hmm.
It's here. Just got to
Yep.
bring it in a little bit closer. Um, do you feel that it's on the universe's time? So we all think about time, not here yet. Once we start thinking those things, are we now derailing it? Are we coming from now a place of lack? It's not here yet. It should be here. I can't believe
Mm-hmm.
it's taken so long.
Yeah, I think as long as you're thinking it's not here yet, you're keeping it just in the distance. Where if you feel it real and you believe it's here, and then you go have a great day, go enjoy your day, do what makes you happy, and kind of let it go, set it aside, and trust, right? Trust and faith to me are big, important energies to be in. It's not here right at this moment, but I'm trusting that everything's lining up. So think of it that way, right? There are lots of things I would love to drop into my world today, but I might not even be ready if it did. So I know energetically everything's lining up and it's going to arrive in divine timing.
Do you feel, that being said, final question here,
Mhm.
when things don't go the way you expected in your life, things come up and you're like, why did that happen? And why did that happen? Should you look at it more of as an opportunity as opposed to woe's me? Like, let's say you're a salesperson and you lost a couple of, deals. Like, really? Look at it more of, that wasn't really supposed to happen. Maybe the universe is saying, pivot over here. Maybe it's a different job, situation, whatever it might be. Always look at it as there's a reason and an opportunity why we got deflected.
Yes. And I feel like this could be a long answer, so I'll try to make it brief. I don't believe life is happening to us. I believe life is happening through us. So when something happens in my life that isn't what I had hoped for, I say to myself, why did I create that? What's going on inside of me vibrationally or energetically that I would have created that? I've been building this business that I have, and I was feeling myself having more and more clients and more clients. And I had a couple of really great weeks. This was probably a year ago, but I had a couple of really great weeks. And then I started to get tired and overwhelmed and I literally, then my business went, zoop. I created it. I was over it kind of at that point. I hadn't figured out how to manage my time the best. And so I created not having the clients. But then when you start realizing, oh, I created that, and if I created that, I can create anything I want. So I just have to come back in and find that energy and find that new future memory with more intention than and deliberate, being deliberate and choosing than by default.
In your situation, you brought more business. Was it this is not right for me because I can't handle all of this? Was that the feeling that you had? And how did that go from there?
Well, at first I was tired and I don't think I was ready for it. At first I was excited. Initially I was excited, but then I was tired, and I have a lot of free time and I want free time. I live at the beach, and freedom is my number one goal. And so I felt like I was losing my freedom. And so as I did, I know internally I was feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. So when things plummeted, then I realized that I had to get in alignment with just the right amount of clients, or even what it caused me to do was raise some of my prices because I want to make a certain amount of money, but I was like working too many hours and not, receiving the income that I wanted. So every time anything in my life like that feels disjointed, I come back inside.
Interesting. I'm going to take the vision board off the wall and I'm writing the word freedom on it.
Nice.
And the word freedom in my world has a special meaning that goes back decades. And you just said it. So I think that's like the universe is saying, yeah, that's what you're looking for, Steve. Hello. We're out of time, but I want to share examples of this working. I know somebody who is intuitive, is a life coach, wanted a Tesla, high end, didn't have the money, manifested it. I think it was about 5 months or so. We're talking like $60,000, $70,000. Bought it cash, manifested it. Then someone else who was in a relationship where it wasn't a great relationship, kind of abusive. He eventually passed away. Sad, but, okay in her world because it was the ending of something that was very challenging. She wrote down who she wanted in her life, put it underneath her bed in 1 week, just after her spouse passed. Very shortly thereafter, Mr. Perfect showed up. That was it. A week underneath her bed. So these are examples, just throwing it out there. If anybody thinks that we're kind of crazy and woo-woo, and this doesn't work. There are examples.
Remember, limitless. We live in a limitless universe.
Yeah. Well, the only limit is us.
Yep.
Yeah. Fantastic talking with you, Jen. How does somebody connect with you, either on a coaching level? You offer so much energy healing, even manifestation coaching, maybe. I don't know, but how do we start the conversation?
Yep. My main coaching package is called Soul Alchemy, and it's about energy healing, clearing the unlimited beliefs, and getting you in a place of alignment to live your dreams, because we're all here for that. And you can find that on my website, jEnergy, jEnergy.com.
jEnergy just makes me smile. It's just Jen and energy put together. Wonderful talking with you. Thanks for digging into this. Again, I have books at home I haven't even gotten into. Read like 3 pages about manifesting. Side note, Tesla, the scientist, this is how he created what we have here today. The motor, the engine. Some say he created electricity. Some say Edison stole it from him because he was working for the Edison Corporation. Hundreds of patents. He was a little quirky as in my studies. But this is all how it worked. And everything in his world had to be divisible by the number 3. There's a book out there called the 369 Principle, I think it's called. And that was what he did. Again, he's a little weird, quirky, if you want to call it that, but it worked. That's how we did it.
And can I say something, Stephen? Because you bringing that up is that this is nothing new. We are acting like in 2025, manifestation is this new thing. It's who we are as human beings. It's been going on since all of time. And so I'm so glad you brought up Tesla. It's now we are just realizing our power.
Well, I think there's a raising of the consciousness, and I don't know where it's coming from. That's way out of my wheelhouse. Could be the energy in the universe. Some say we're changing dimension. We'll leave it at that. We won't get into that today. But there's just something going on here where we're okay accepting a little bit more of this energy thing, which has been around before we were been here. It's all there. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And truly looking forward next time we get together.
Okay, thanks. Me too. Have a great day.
We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.